Hello and welcome back to Midlife Curiouses. Our third day in Ho Chi Minh City started with a visit to a cat cafe called Catfe. The entrance fee was 98,000 VND per person, which is approximately 370 Indian rupees. This included a drink, snacks, and of course, spending time with the cats. So once you enter, on the right is where you can help yourself to the snacks. You can pour yourself a drink from the bottles in the fridge as well. I was told that the snacks were just for us and not for the cats. And of course, we saw lovely cats from the second we entered. They were obviously used to a lot of people visiting and went about whatever they were doing regardless of anything, as you can see from Sleeping Beauty here. Now, we had visited a dog cafe in Seoul that had beautiful dogs of many different breeds, but it was just one large room where you could sit and play with the dogs while you had a drink. What struck me about Catfe was that in addition to the variety of cats, the decor too was very striking. I loved the paintings and photos of cats on the walls, which were also covered with photos of famous celebrities posing with cats. I think that's Elizabeth Taylor. It just took the ambiance to another level. And what I said about the cats being comfortable around people, look at these two under the stairs. I'm convinced the one on the right was posing. Also, it seemed like it sat like that for the longest time. This cafe has a total of 3 floors and the ticket gives you free access to all the floors. The middle floor had a grooming room on one side and the other side was open for visitors. Also, we were not told that we had to leave after a certain amount of time or anything like that. The dog cafe in Seoul had a 30-minute time limit. We decided to visit the topmost floor first and work our way down. The room to the left as you climbed up the stairs was the biggest and nicest one in the cafe. Of course, there were cats everywhere and we walked around admiring them. Again, there were the celebrity photos with cats. There's Anthony Hopkins, Al Pacino, Morgan Freeman, to name just some of them. Then something interesting happened. We were playing with and photographing the cats when this happened. This cat is a Canadian Sphinx. They are hairless and prone to feel cold, and that's why it's wearing a sweater. It totally reminded me of Gollum from Lord of the Rings. There it is peeking at us. I think Gollum had found his precious of the day. After walking around a little, I made my way to the second room on the same floor, which was on the other side of the staircase. This room had fewer cats and seemed to be one where you could curl up with a book while the cats looked on. This cat here had the most beautiful tail. Back in the main room, I took some time to admire these two, who appeared to have perched up here for some alone time away from us encroaching, interfering humans. This little grey kitten was an absolute delight, darting about and playing. My son wanted to take a picture with it, so I picked it up, but was scolded by a member of the staff when she saw me doing that. So you can play with the cats and pet them as much as you like, but apparently you are not allowed to pick them up or carry them around. I guess this is perfectly understandable as I'm sure it can disturb the cats, so I apologized to her. This wall had pictures, names, and some information on all the cats. Then we made our way to the middle floor. This room had what looked like cute enclosures, probably for the cats to sleep in at night because they had air vents in them. This one cat looked like a baby leopard. It had beautiful rosette-like markings. Then there's Vladimir Putin, Amanda Seyfried, Benedict Cumberbatch, Meryl Streep, Abraham Lincoln, Dwayne Johnson, and many other famous celebrities looked on, it was time for us to leave. If you are a cat lover, Cat Pay is totally worth it. The cats were beautiful and well groomed, and the place was very clean and beautifully maintained. Next, we drove on to Tao Dan Park. It is in District 1 and one of the largest parks in the city, covering 10 hectares. It is also referred to as the Green Lung of Saigon. Tao Dan Park is special because it is a green space right in the middle of the city. Its large number of trees create a refreshing environment amidst the hustle and bustle of Ho Chi Minh City. It is a popular place for locals and tourists alike to relax and enjoy fresh air, exercise, take pictures, maybe even have a picnic. Children too enjoy playing in the green open space. Tao Dan Park has a long history beginning from when the French started invading Vietnam. The Tao Dan Park is located right behind the Reunification Palace and was restored at the same time the palace was rebuilt by the French. Initially, the park was a garden in the palace of the Governor General of Indochina. In 1869, the French separated the park land from the garden of the palace and built Miss Cavell Street between them. Tao Dan was then called Jati de la Ville or Park Maurice Long. In 1954, after the French withdrew their forces from Vietnam, the palace was named the Independence Palace or Reunification Palace, and the park was renamed Tao Dan Park. In addition to the greenery, there are also historical structures in the park, out of which two are the most famous. The first one is coming up ahead, the Cham Tower. Cham towers are a type of temple architecture in Vietnam. They are dedicated to Hindu deities and reflect the influence of Indian culture on the Cham people, the indigenous people of central Vietnam, who are believed to have originally travelled from India to Vietnam and formed the Champa kingdom. This is a close-up of modern music-themed metal art in the park, which provides an interesting and stark contrast to the old trees here. Coming up ahead is the second historical construction, the Hung King Temple. It is notable for blending traditional and modern architectural features. This temple was built in honor of the Hung Kings, who were the ancestors of the Vietnamese, and also in honor of President Ho Chi Minh. Tourists are fascinated by the eye-catching and striking architecture. Just a couple of minutes ride away from Tao Dan Park is the Independence Palace. Also known as the Reunification Palace, it is a major landmark in Ho Chi Minh City, covering 120,000 square meters. This place is a must visit for people interested in art and architecture. It has a glamorous design and about 100 rooms equipped with luxurious furnishings and decorations. And what a colorful history it has. This was originally called the Norodom Palace, built by the French in 1868 as a residence for the Governor General. It was then also called the Governor's Palace. In the March of 1945, when Japanese forces overthrew the French, Norodom Palace was the Japanese headquarters in Vietnam. Then, with the defeat of the Japanese in World War II, the French returned to occupy southern Vietnam in September of 1945. Norodom Palace was again the French headquarters in Vietnam. When the French were defeated and withdrew from Vietnam, the United States occupied the south. That was when Vietnam was divided into the north, led by the Democratic Republic of Vietnam, and the south, led by the newly proclaimed Republic of Vietnam, backed and funded by America. The Norodom Palace was renamed Independence Palace and became the office and residence of this gentleman. I'm typing his name so I don't mispronounce it. A rebellious bombing in February of 1962 irreparably damaged the palace and a new one was built. However, he was assassinated in 1963, and on completion, the rebuilt Independence Palace was occupied by this gentleman and was his home and workplace from 1967 to 1975. Then on the 30th of April 1975, two North Vietnamese tanks broke down the walls of the Independence Palace, resulting in the Republic's fall, the end of the Vietnam War, and the reunification of the entire country. Hence, it is still referred to by two names, the Independence Palace and the Reunification Palace. The main building, situated at the center of the grounds, has 3 floors, 2 mezzanines, 1 terrace, 1 ground floor, and 1 basement. Each room has its own function and is constructed and decorated to meet a particular purpose. The rooms include reception rooms, meeting rooms, banquet halls, ceremonial spaces, and more. Every room varies in decoration and furnishing. What the rooms have in common, however, is the blend of traditional elements and luxurious modern materials. The main hallway is very spacious. Its beauty lies in how it is so well lit from natural light coming in from the windows. Otherwise, it is very simply decorated. The presidential reception rooms are a series of interconnecting rooms. Each room also has its own entrance and its own unique decor. From the balcony, you can see the beautiful oval garden with its central fountain. The palace also has several valuable works of art, like oil paintings and dozens of ancient Chinese pots from the Ming and Qing dynasties. This area was a private area which also included living quarters for the president and his family. This UH-1 helicopter on the roof of the Independence Palace is well preserved and kept in perfect condition for visitors to admire. From here, you can see the two circles that mark the spots where the bombs were dropped on the palace.
During the Vietnam War, the bunker in the Independence Palace served as a command center where South Vietnamese leaders strategized against the advancing forces of the North. It was equipped with state of the art communication systems for the era, allowing for the coordination of military operations and diplomatic communications. The thick, reinforced walls of the bunker were designed to withstand bombings, making it a secure refuge for the leadership during air raids and attacks. Accessed through a series of narrow staircases, the bunker consists of multiple rooms, each serving a specific purpose. Key rooms include the War Command Room, Radio Transmission Room, and storage facilities for essential supplies. The War Command Room houses large maps, telephones, and radios that facilitated real time communication with military units across the country. These tools were crucial for strategizing and responding to the dynamic nature of the conflict. Adjacent rooms contain heavy duty equipment including a telex machine and radios, which were used to send encrypted messages to allies and field units. The bunker also contains living quarters and basic amenities, indicating that it was designed for extended stays during times of crisis. Its austere design highlights its utilitarian purpose. There was no room for luxury in a space dedicated to survival and strategic planning. This car is part of a collection of vintage vehicles used by South Vietnamese presidents. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, do subscribe and hit the bell to get notified when I post a new video. Bye for now.